My first guest joins me in studio. William Sumpis is the CEO of a company called T3 Motion Incorporated. Their stock symbol's TTTM. Bill, good to see you again.
Good to see you, Don. Nice to be here, sir.
Yeah, it's been pretty close to a year since we last had you on the program. Exciting company. For those who did not see those original set of interviews, tell us again what the company does.
So T3 Motion is the world's premier manufacturer and inventor of the three-wheel electric stand-up vehicle. So we build electric vehicle technology for law enforcement and government agencies and even commercial security worldwide.
We see these people on these vehicles, in airports, shopping malls and such, and the way they can tell they're one of yours is yours have three wheels.
Three wheels, exactly. We've got a very large sort of commanding chariot sort of appearance. Law enforcement loves it because it gives them great proximity to the crowds. It allows them to get into places they can't get into with a typical patrol car or by foot, which is much less effective. And so you'll find us in 200 Target stores. You'll find us in LAPD, New York PD, and agencies and airports all over the world.
Well, again, your vehicles, I've seen them. I mean, and even before we ever talked on this program, I remember thinking, look at that, that's three wheels. That is so much more intelligent than the other one. It just doesn't look, very stable whatsoever.
We've got a lot of advantages in the vehicle. So the vehicles, number one, are three wheels, so they're very safe and stable, as opposed to our competitor that we refer to as a workman comp claim. You'll see athletes and the like, with busted up ribs trying to ride on two wheels. So the vehicle's very safe and stable. It's got a very commanding presence, and we've got a lot of new technology that we built into the vehicles. We've got streaming video with an Active Vision live streaming video system that we're developing. We've got removable and replaceable hot swappable battery packs. So as an example, on a two-wheel platform, the thing runs down the road for 10 or 15 miles, batteries go dead, and you either push it home or you find a place to charge it. Our vehicles have the ability to have the battery packs removed and fresh packs put in to keep those things in service 24/7. There's a lot of advantages to three-wheel technology.
Now, I'm a fan of British television. Happened to see a clip on a program called Mud, Sweat, and Gears on BBC America where there was your vehicles. Tell us how that happened.
So, we worked with the LAPD on that, the SWAT team here in Los Angeles down in the LA River, and Blood, Sweat, and Gears, BBC America contacted us on that shoot, and we went in and basically simulated the use of the vehicles in a environment with the LAPD SWAT team in the LA River in a apprehension of a robbery suspect. And it was a great show to do, great working with the team there, and real proud to be part of that.
Well, it's a big show. I mean, I think that show has something like 80 million viewers worldwide. Now, you came into the company a couple of years ago. The story is fascinating. You were a shareholder in the company, and you came in as CEO. Tell us how that happened. So
I was an investor in the company, and I was a golfing buddy with the founder originally. And my buddy, who was the founder and CEO at the time, said, hey, buy all you can get. We're going great places. We've got a great product. And I said, okay. So I went out and wrote a check for $500,000, bought a bunch of shares, and never looked at the financials. So I didn't do very well for myself in terms of, and as an investor. Next thing you know, I'd lost $500,000. Company had lost $47 million to date, and I wasn't aware of that at the time. And, I started complaining about the company's performance. So enough noise made, squeaky gear gets the grease. They put me on the board. I came in and started looking at the operations and trying to figure out where the problems were of the operations. And they had a guy that had been in for about 10 months that was, an ex-VP of commercial sales for DirecTV, and had a great history in the computer industry with Compaq and some of the other computer manufacturers as a sales and marketing kind of guy. He was struggling with the company and losing money, so the company raised $4.3 million that it closed on November 27th of 2012. Exactly 90 days later, the company had $100,000 left in cash, had burned through that 4.2 million, or 4.2 of the 4.3 million it raised, of which I was one of the investors in that round as well. And the board, this guy resigned, actually called a board meeting to resign, and resigned at the meeting, and the board looked around and said, we're out of cash again, we don't have a CEO, and there's no way but down for this thing, and what do we do here? So the board voted to file a Chapter 7. And I said, well, that's no good. We got a great product. The problem here, guys, is the way you have run this company, and there's a lot of things that we can do to turn this thing around and try and fix it. And they looked at me and said, you really think you could do that? I said, give me the company and I'll fix it. So they said, give us a minute, and sent me into the hallway. So 30 seconds later, they came out and got me and said, okay, well, if you think you can do it, it's yours. And I became the CEO of T3 Motion. They all packed up, walked out of the room, and I had this company that was burning $550,000 a month in my hands. So there was a big job and a lot of work to do there. The company was out of cash. I had a payroll due of $150,000 in 2 weeks and $100,000 in the bank to pay it with. We were 4 days away from a delisting hearing before the panel at the NYSE as well. No time to even prepare for that, for the hearing in New York. There was just a massive meltdown going on here. So, it took a lot of hard work, a lot of strategy planning, and basically I built a roadmap and tried to identify the areas where the business was struggling and identify the priorities in terms of what I was going to do to keep it in business, and be, refund it, recapitalize it, clean up the cap table, the balance sheet, and trying to turn this thing around to make something, sustainable out of it.
Well, you've done a tremendous job. Now, I mentioned we hadn't talked to you in about a year or so. Company's been kind of quiet. What's the reason behind that?
There were several reasons. So for 2 years, as a CEO of the company, I didn't take any compensation. So I worked for free for actually about 23 months, 22 months. I also financed the company out of my pocket personally for 2 years. So I was making payroll every other week. I was the guy that was not only having to fix it, I was the guy that was having to fund it and receiving nothing for it, and I did it in a very generous way for the company. I mean, I did it without even a specific agreement that provided the benefits that I believed that I was entitled to, and the board and I had communicated about. Went in, one by one, and solved the problem. So. There was a strategic reason as well as financial reasons for the quietness in the company. Number one is the company is delinquent or behind on all of its quarterly and annual reports. We are ready to file those reports here in the coming weeks. So I can assure you that those reports are going to paint a much different picture, of this company than what it was 23 months ago.
I wish we could do an entire show on this story, but of course, we've initiated coverage again of the company. We'll be talking to you several times over the next several weeks. We are out of time this week, but it is a fascinating story, Bill. I want to know more about this as we go along. Thanks so much for joining us.
I'm going to be back next week. When I come back next week, we're going to talk about the meat here in this deal and exactly what we've accomplished and where we stand today.
TTTM's their stock symbol, T3 Motion Incorporated. Bill, thanks so much.
Don, great to see you. Thanks very much.